Yo,
Jack, are you frozen?
Sam, are you there?
Yeah, Jack, are you frozen?
Sam, are you there?
Yeah, Jack, are you frozen?
Sam, are you there?
What are we even doing here?
Yo, Wi-Fi fighting, but they holding it down. How about them J-era Maz ballers running Beantown? They say these guys are ridiculous, yet probably true. Like the 23 Celtics, they got a deep crew. Pregame Polly Papa trying to make some bank. Professor Pete repping Latvia, KP to thank. RJ's on the email taking fools to college. Joey, Matt, Timo, Robin, let's acknowledge. What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Checking Sam, talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here? In the garden, fighting for a quiet spot. Jack's taking notes while the crowd gets hot. Irate, insightful, not a diplomat. Sam's got a long list and it's just for rats. Rat list your Wi-Fi, rat list your dog. Rat list Barney, rat list LeBron. Rat list the traffic, rat list the song. Rat list that's getting too long. What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Checking Sam, talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here? Might think they're chill, but don't get it twisted. They're not just hustling, they're highly gifted. Still new to the scene and making their mark. It's a humble beginning, it's a hero's arc. Sam's keeping it real with the Starkey vibe, but he's all in with Jack when it's time to ride. Yo, ass hat in the chat, Jack says don't come back. He's got zero patience for nonsense attacks. What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Checking Sam, talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here? What are we even doing here? We're taking the crown. Jack and Sam talking Celtics and breaking it down. Competition can't keep up, they're starting to frown. What are we even doing here?
Hey, we made it. Pre-game live, Friday night, NBA Cup action. It is a ton of fun to be here for the NBA Cup, and I have the pleasure of being joined by Robbie Fletcher of Celtics Blog. Robbie, hello.
How's it going, Sam? Thanks for having me.
I mean, I couldn't be more excited. These are my favorite days. It is the Cup. I've got my Cup hat on. I'm a Cup respecter. For those wondering, Jack will be here shortly. He is navigating the Amway Center, Kia Center. What the hell do they call this arena now? Is it still the Kia Center? It's going to tell me on NBA.com. Kia Center. So he's down there for the game today. Respecting the Cup in person as I'm respecting it from a distance. But Boston 1-0 in the Cup so far. Them and Philly, the only two teams in their group that have played. Detroit and Brooklyn will play each other tonight, and Orlando will play their first game against the Celtics today. But I'm excited. I think the Cup is a great way to start the season. It's super fun. People hate on it. Those people are lame. They're haters. They hate the colorful courts. They hate the majesty of the NBA Cup. But unfortunately, they only won by 1 point in Philly after being up by $1 billion. So they're going to have their work cut out for them for the rest of this. Are you a Cup hater? Are you a cup respecter? Like, how do you feel about it, Robbie?
I'm in the middle. I enjoy the basketball matters in a different way feeling in November and December. It's just something to look forward to. Do I love the courts? Not really. Do I love the presentation? It's fine. But it's such a unique thing. I mean, as a fan of the game, last year we're watching Joe play hack a Drummond in a game in December. That's just so strange and so unique, and it makes these games feel a little different. It's weird because Orlando as a Cup opponent 2 years ago was one of the most frustrating games I can remember from the championship team. So there's a little bit of bad blood. There's some weird negative nostalgia in this game that hopefully they can, wipe away.
Yeah, there is a little bit of history. It's a good point. You have, I think both years they played each other in the Cup. I think both years Boston lost to them, or maybe not last year.
No, not
they
last
lost to
year.
Orlando last year, but they definitely lost
Right.
them in the first year of it. They lost down to Orlando. It was a boggling loss. It was Orlando wasn't good yet. This team wasn't supposed to be anything yet. They go down there and they get waxed, and it wasn't even close. And then you, of course, have the playoff series last year. The Celtics players were in particularly perturbed by the physicality of the Magic. Jaylen Brown would go to the podium after the game and say he doesn't know how they're getting away with it. Jamal Mosley was very tongue-in-cheek, kind of enjoying the physicality of his team and kind of enjoying how it affected the Celtics. And we all thought that the physicality was the reason why Kristaps Porzingis was playing like a zombie, and it just turns out he had Potts, the disorder. So he was battling through that instead of just the Orlando Magic defense. But there will definitely be some more juice today. I'm sure the team's excited about it. Bubs likes the tournament in the court. Let's see. Tugboat asking, you guys watching Boston or Maine both play at 7? I'll be watching the Cup. Tugboat, come on, man.
It's a double box. It's a double box situation.
It could be a double box. I was saying earlier, my girlfriend's mom is staying with us, but I was like, I'm gonna roll out the second TV tonight, and they were like, "Why?" I'm like, "Well, the NBA Cup's on. Like, there's a billion games to watch. Like, I have to put Celtics on one TV, rest of the games on the other TV. Got to see all the colorful courts. Got to see all of the competitive games here." But you mentioned this to me before the show. Orlando is one of the most aggressive teams in the league when it comes to getting to the free throw line. Meanwhile, the Celtics give up a billion free throws. So rim protection is going to be a really important thing for them. And the team today put out some stats about Neemias Queta in particular, who's played much better than I think a lot of people would have expected him to play as the starter, or at least like, I wouldn't say like most people expected him, but like there was real reason to doubt. And there was also reason to be encouraged. And it's kind of been a seesaw type thing there. But like he's towards the top of the league in defensive rating. And some of that could be because players are more fearful to drive to the rim with him there rather than somebody like Luka Garza or Xavier Tillman, who haven't been great at protecting it.
He's been their best big, which has been nice to see. But I don't think it's like, I think he's playing the way you would anticipate Queta would play with like starting minutes. He does a lot of the things that he did well, like as a fourth big. He puts himself in the right spot, like, at the dunker spot. He's pretty good around the rim. He's a pretty decent defender. You want to see more from him making those kind of like quick read passes and stuff like that, and there's the moving screen element. He fouls a bit, I feel pretty whelmed with where Queta is like as an overall
pretty
player.
Whelmed.
Yeah. Like
over, just properly whelmed.
He's exactly what I kind of expected. And I'm happy to see that finding like a rotation that works. Like him and Minot has been, it's been a really fantastic 4 or 5 combination. They clearly have seen something over these 9 games that it's the best combination that they have in the front court. So like, that's nice to see. I like Queta. I like watching Queta. He's a fun player. And he seems like a really good guy as well. So it's like, he's easy to root for. I remember when they signed him, it felt like such a steal at the time too, because he was a really good college player. He was a great G League player. It felt like the Kings kind of just made a mysterious decision, kind of letting him go at that point.
Jack, welcome in.
Hello. What's
Hey,
up, Robbie?
Jack.
What's up,
How's it going?
Jack, one of Queta's most long-standing fans.
Well, I'm happy to be wrong in this case. I'm more than happy to be wrong in this case. I was not very high on him based on what I had seen, and he's been really good. And so I'm happy that they have found somebody who can give them quality minutes at the 5. I'm happy that he is. I mean, he looks like a different player from even the first like preseason game and in the first couple, stints he spent playing before the regular season began. Like he looks like a completely new player. So credit him for that. He has completely adapted the way he's been playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been a pleasant surprise. I think he's done a lot of good things. He's definitely been better at finishing around the rim than I expected him to be this season, which is a pleasant surprise in itself. Like, guys struggled a lot. When they drafted Amari Williams, he was the person I pointed to. I was like, takes all of his shots inside, still doesn't shoot a super high percentage. Says a lot about his touch around the basket. But he's done a good job of maximizing the low usage opportunities he actually gets on offense. He's shown a willingness to shoot the threes, even though they're not going in yet. And Robbie mentioned Josh Minot, who has just been an absolute revelation. Like, we talk about him every time we do a show, whether it's pregame, postgame, podcast. Like, he has been an incredible player this year, and he is a small ball 5, I guess, as we learned against Washington on Wednesday. Were you impressed, unimpressed? And he takes it all on the small ball 5. I'm sure you didn't think you'd be talking about that today.
I wrote about it. I wrote about it
even
for Celtics
better.
blog. They had 6 different small ball combinations against Washington. He was the 5 in every single one of them, which I thought was pretty telling. I mean, they definitely there was a lot of different wing combinations in those lineups, but what I really liked was he initiated a lot of offense with his early screen game. He was very active. I think defensively, like, when you play that small, the switch communication has to be just fantastic. And they struggled a bit on that end. I think Washington did a good job of like dragging him out of the paint defensively and clearing the lane. But that was like their first real game of significant small ball. So it was cool to see it against a matchup like that. a team that doesn't really have a great front court.
And meanwhile, it's not something that's going to work every single day. It was a nice loophole to get around playing Luka Garza and Xavier Tillman, who haven't been particularly great. Xavier Tillman, by the way, is not going to be in the lineup today. He's out for personal reasons. He's the only Celtic on the injury report. Meanwhile, Orlando has a decent front court. They've definitely struggled to start the season, though. I think everyone thought they'd be much better than they are. They're 3-5 going into this game. Very winnable cup game. Not to say, Jack, you in particular have felt that Orlando is going to be a bad matchup for the Celtics.
I think they're the closest thing to the Rockets without being the Rockets. In terms of the length, the athleticism, the defensive versatility, they don't have the Amen Thompson height. They don't have obviously they don't have the offensive scoring punch. But in terms of Paolo's going to get out and run, Franz is going to get out and run. Jalen Suggs is a good defender. They got Tristan DeSilva off the bench, Anthony Black off the bench. They're going to breeze you around. They're going to run. They're going to, be aggressive on defense. They're going to play that super we're going to bully you style of defense. It could be tough for the Celtics to get up shots for an offense that has struggled to get up shots. I don't know. I think. If I had to guess, I think the Celtics have a really good chance of winning tonight, just because I feel like they are trending towards the shooting coming back a little bit. It's starting to feel like they are getting a little bit more comfortable as the days go on, and Orlando just can't shoot. So, but I do think the length and athleticism and presence that the Magic have established could bother Boston.
The good news here. And then I'll kick it to you, Robbie. I'm sorry. I was just looking into some of the advanced numbers, and Orlando is a sneaky good matchup for the Celtics, just considering how careful Boston is with the basketball. Meanwhile, has done a great job of turning over opposing teams. Orlando, fifth worst or sixth worst rather in terms of turnover percentage. Assist to turnover ratio is bottom 2, and the Celtics are the best turnover percentage team in the NBA. So they've done a great job of maximizing the shot margins and things of that matter, because they've taken care of the ball and forced so many turnovers. The forced turnovers really make up for some of the rebounding weaknesses that they've had so far.
They're such a strange team. I mean, they're 5th in pace this year, and they were one of the slowest teams in the league last year. And the personnel is, aside from Bane and Tyus Jones, largely the same. So it doesn't really make sense on paper, a team like that playing so run and gun, when you have your two primary scorers are two guys that like to get downhill, like to attack mismatches like Paolo and Franz. So it's kind of strange that's kind of the way, that's where Mosley's going with this team. I don't know if they're going to stick with it. I don't know if it's just something like an early season November experiment. But it's strange. But with that being said, though, when this team does slow it down, they're so good at getting to the free throw line. They're best in the league at it. Banchero gets to the line 10 attempts a game. Not to say they're very good at the line, because they really aren't, but they get there. And Boston is a team that gives up a lot of free throw attempts. So this is kind of a huge challenge for their interior defense, how they're going to handle those downhill drives. You can live with Orlando taking a lot of threes. And if this is the game where, Bane finally gets hot, or Tyus finally gets hot, or, one of those games where Franz kind of gets going, so be it. But I think the big thing here is, how do they handle the inside element?
Nemi's got his work cut out for him. We need some Luka Garza heroics, who has kind of fallen off a cliff after being really solid for 3 games in the 3-game win streak they had after going 0-3. They're going to need a little bit out of him. I don't really know what his potential is in this matchup as much as, somebody like Nemi's very clear cut, going to try and protect the rim, things of that matter. But Jaylen Brown's also been phenomenal, and I'm curious to see how he handles a decent Orlando Magic defense. They have a lot of decent defenders, Jalen Suggs being one of them. Desmond Bane has the strength to keep with somebody like Jalen, who uses his frame to bounce guys off him, get those mid-range shots up. By the way, Batman ass sounding name, can't take him serious. Has he been serious this year? I feel like he's been largely really bad.
He been pretty
Really
awful.
bad.
Yeah. I mean, I think I wrote it down. I think he's shooting 29% from 3. He also has been largely off ball. They have not given him a whole lot of on ball responsibilities. They've left that a lot to Suggs and Jones when they play. So it's kind of been curious where he fits into it, all of it. And it's weird because when that trade happened, his fit made so much sense to like what that team needed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, in the same way, I think Bane and them will turn around shooting. I think Pritchard and White will turn. Like, great shooters don't just forget how to shoot the basketball. That said, I do think there's an element to the Magic have implemented the same strategy for 2 seasons in a row now. We are really bad at shooting. Let's just go get one guy who can shoot. And
let's trade the one guy we had that
Yeah.
can shoot for the guy.
And they
that can
upgraded.
shoot.
Don't get me wrong. Like, Desmond Bane is much better than KCP, but the thought process of let's just get that one guy. Let's just get the one guy who can shoot, and everybody else, whatever. And Tristan Da Silva's taking a step up from beyond the arc, so like that's helping a little bit. But it feels like you need to like make a more concerted effort to. We have Banchero, we have Franz, we have, even if you want to include Suggs, who I really like, let's get a bunch of really good 3-point shooters around them. And they've just not done that. Not even with the way they've drafted. They tried a little bit with Jet Howard. That didn't pan out. Maybe Jace Richardson is the guy now who's going to end up being that really good shooter for them. But like it feels like they're missing the mark with every little thing they do.
Yeah, Richardson is he's got to be that for them. I mean, that's exactly the kind of player he is a solid secondary, ball handler that can shoot the rock. Anthony Black was also kind of a strange pick, even at the time. It felt like in line with their kind of size. But I mean, he's 21, so he's still got, he's a young player, but he's in his 3rd year, and it's starting to feel like he's kind of just what he is.
They pass up on anybody for him? I'm gonna look now.
Trying to remember back, probably. It's just kind of how this goes. Like, you always look back and you're like, how foolish were they?
After him, it was Bilal Coulibaly, Jarris Walker, Taylor Hendricks, Kaysen Wallace. Then they took Jet Howard. Then Derek Lively, Grady Dick, Jordan Hawkins, Buffkin, Keontae George, and then Jaime Jaquez and Pods and Cam Whitmore went a few picks later. So,
I mean, Kaysen Wallace is like the exact kind of player.
Exactly.
I mean, he's a perfect fit for what they would need.
Kaysen
How
Wallace
did the
would
Thunder
be great.
keep looking into these guys?
They're really good at drafting. They're really good at identifying talent.
Yeah, and a lot of darts to throw as well. I mean,
yeah,
Very true.
so many.
But
picks.
also, imagine like Grady Dick on this basketball team, or Derek Lively playing center instead of Wendell Carter, who's been okay this year, or Keontae George at the 1 or the 2 running the show a little bit, or Pods or Jaime Hawk. Like, it just feels like, I know it would have been a reach to take most of those guys at 6, but even with Jet Howard pick at, what was that, 13, or 11, it's just like, let's be a little bit more decisive. Let's get one NBA level skill that's there instead of keeping trying to, you know what I'm saying?
Where was Black taken? What pick was it?
6,
Okay.
7, top 10 for sure. He was the first of the 2 picks they had.
Jet Howard or Black? Black was 6.
Black
was 6. Okay.
Crazy. They did miss out on like the real talent though, which sucks. It was Wemby, Brandon Miller, Scoot, then the Thompson twins, and then it was Anthony Black. Like they were so close, and they just missed all the survivors.
All right, we getting a lot of love from the chat. I had somewhere I wanted to go next. Completely forgot it. Probably was absolute nonsense. It's usually how it goes for me. So completely disregard. Jack, any big things you're looking at going? Either of you, if you have any like big agendas you want to push, anything of that matter.
I've been asking about a few fun things lately, like from the various media abilities. The defense is one thing. I'm still super, super, super high on this defense. I don't know where they rank now, but up until a couple games ago, they were number 1 in opposing team field goal percentage, like allowed. Like, they have just been clamping teams. They dropped to 3rd now. Teams are shooting 43.8% against the Celtics. They're also shooting, I think 3-point percentage has gone up a little since the Jazz game, 36% from 3. But they're doing a great job of playing defense and then also forcing turnovers. Opponents turn the ball over 17 times a game against Celtics. Like, they're just doing a really good, like, this defense is very clearly working. And in that, I'm going to do a video on it eventually once I stop traveling and get to settle down and do a couple more, like, actual like, video work type things. Sam Hauser has been quietly one of the most impactful defenders with nothing in his stats. Like it's not like never the steal, just the tip that leads to the rebound. It's never the block. It's the rotation and the bump that leads to Mimi having time. Like it's just all these little things. And everyone's like, oh, if he doesn't shoot, he's bad. He is one of the most impactful players on the court whenever he's on the court, on defense, on the boards, in the flow of the defense. That's been incredible to watch. I just wrote a story on Peyton Pritchard, like creating space with his body, like bump shots and those little things in the lane. So that's been cool too. But the defense for me has really been like, this has been very, very, very cool to watch.
They need all the help they can get everywhere because they're like getting split skills from guys that should have multiple skills. Like Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, you mentioned Pritchard being so fantastic on the bumps, and it made me remember what I wanted to talk about, which ties into this, is Joe Mazzulla told him and Derek White, like, he wants those guys to not be defined by the three-point shot, which has been abysmal, very bad, unreliable, completely unexpected after the careers they've had, specifically with the Celtics in Derek White's case, where they've been super just good from three, near 40% three-point shooters to both of them. And now this year, neither one of them could throw the ball in the ocean for some odd reason. But Pritchard has made the most of this. He's really relished in being the primary ball handler. He's used that move to bump guys off when he's around the free throw line. He doesn't miss those shots. Thank goodness. He didn't leave that shot in 2024-25. He left a three-point shot there. Derek White is next. What does he do? We're going to find out. Show us what you do, Derek. I'm waiting.
I think the thing with both of those guys too that goes noticed, I think you mentioned it with the amount of turnovers they give up, which, you know, they've protected the ball really well this season, but both of those guys have been fantastic at limiting mistakes. So they're getting the shots off, which is important. You know, the shots aren't falling, but they're going through their process. They're maintaining possession. They're going through the flow of the offense. And that's important. I mean, they're third in catch and shoot attempts this season. They're just not falling, but they're getting those opportunities. And you have to hope with some of the shooters on this team that are struggling that eventually those will fall. But the process is there. And that's like important to see with this group.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it all season. The Celtics are generating a ton of open threes. They're just not going in, and that's a problem. But like that is something that very clearly has to change if the Celtics want to win basketball games. But I'm checking here. I want to see where Derek White and Peyton Pritchard rank in terms of the most wide open, which is closest defender 6+ feet away, and open, which is 4 to 6 feet away, the closest defender. Threes in total this season. Because if I had to hazard a guess, I would guess they're pretty high up in both of those. Lists. Peyton Pritchard has generated 35 wide open threes this year, 6+ feet away. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 in the league amongst all players, like 400 NBA players. And he's shooting a crisp 7 of 35 on those shots. Have to imagine that'll probably improve. Derek White is 6 spots below him at 33 of them, and he's 11 of 33 on those shots. So they are generating almost like as many wide open threes as you almost possibly can. And in terms of the open ones, which is close to under 4 to 6 feet away, Derek White is third in the NBA on those shots behind Steph Curry and Luka Doncic, and he's shooting 9 of 37. And Peyton Pritchard is a little bit below him. He's generated 29 of them, and he's in 8. So they're getting very, very high quality shots. It's just they gotta go.
The funny thing about the NBA is it feels like a lot more of the game is creating the shots than actually, well, you have to make them. But like the assumption is if you're there, you're making the shots. And what separates the good from the bad teams, one, shot making, yes, but like shot quality, shot creation is a huge part of that. That's why somebody like Jason Tatum is so important, because he requires so much attention from defenses. Guys get open shots much easier than, let's say this year. I know you mentioned it. I think it was the Jazz game, Jack, where it was like, these guys have to fight and claw around screens around the court to even get open this year at times. And I think it's true, but I think the Celtics have done their part mostly of creating those looks. Like this eye test tells you it's a good team. Like if you watched every Celtics game and you cut out the parts of the game where the ball was in the air for the shot, you'd be like, good basketball. When the ball is not going in, it could be hair pulling and frustrating because it feels like they should be beating up on teams or capitalizing on things that they're not capitalizing on just yet. The good news is I don't remember who sent it to me in First to the Floor, so I'll shout out the whole Discord. But somebody sent me a graph the other day where it tells you how far into the season you should like start to believe the stats that you're seeing. And it was like 30 games for shooting percentage. So there's a lot of time before the Celtics 3-point legacy for the 25-26 season is cemented.
Yeah, it's so easy, especially this early in the season, to kind of like draw the conclusion of what exactly a team is. I mean, I think after our first 2 losses, you could see the tank crowd really come out of the woodwork. And
I was thinking about joining them.
well, and that's perfectly fine. But it's like, guys, we're in October here, like you just kind of have to let these things go. There's going to be injuries. There's going to be acquisitions. There's going to be so much that happens. There's going to be hot streaks and cold streaks. And like it, a 9-10 game stretch does give you a good picture of like what the team looks like. But I don't want to draw too many like hard conclusions with this team because so much is changing there's so much tinkering with the rotation and we're seeing so much experimentation with how the bench looks on a night to night basis. So it's hard to like draw complete conclusions of like what we're seeing right now.
Gun to your head, how many wins?
Ooh, I think at the start of the season I said like true 541.
Yeah.
I'll go like 38 now, I think.
Okay,
38.
you've been knocked down a peg.
Just a little bit. When you see the rebounding issues consistently in a small sample, it's like, all right, this that's a tough thing to get better at. But they're a very competent team, and that makes me happy to like we're seeing a lot of young guys get minutes that are giving good minutes. And I don't know if I really expected Gonzalez to have such an immediate impact before preseason. Like that's cool to see. That's like the stuff that's important for a season like this. And I'm having a fun time. This is a good team. This is a fun team to watch.
Definitely
It's a
fun.
fun team to watch. Very fun. I said 45 before the season. I'm still going to stick with it. This is a big game for me, though. I said I'm not going to judge a team until after 10 games. Here we are. This is the 10th game. And, I mean, spoiler alert, I feel okay. I feel better than I think a lot of people would give credit for how this team's been playing. I don't believe that the sample size we've seen of Derek White and Tim Pritchard shooting the 3-ball with the quality looks they've gotten is going to extrapolate throughout the entire season. And if they're 4-5 and potentially 5-5 with that shooting, I'm gonna stick to my guns until I get proved otherwise and I see something significant about that aspect of the team. But, yeah.
That's a fair assessment. I mean, I think mostly the practices look good. It's like I said, but one, I've avoided joining Tank FC. I almost did it last game. It was the prize hanging in the balance of Wednesday's Celtics Wizards game. I made the announcement on the pregame show, much to Jack's dismay, that he may have to deal with Tank FC Sam for 70 games. But we survived, and they are out of any kind of stipulation where I am considering it at the moment, especially considering the cup being on the line. Cup games would have been no tank regardless. Want them to win them. Jack, what is the cup court aura in there? What do you think of it?
Ass.
Oh, the face said it all. The face, the dismissive, the absolute. I don't even know what to call it.
I say disgust. I say it about jerseys. I say it about anything. Stop with the gray. It doesn't work. It never works. It's so bland. It's so stop. Like, you have the freest court I could ever imagine with the Orlando Magic. Just make it like the nice blue with black with the stars on it and like the like faded so you can barely see them. Free, easy, and they just fucked it up. Also, any Florida game is like a half Celtics home game. You just have so many of the New England to Florida pipeline. There's a pretty good amount of green, especially behind the bench. Behind the bench is 80% green, so it's gonna be a lot.
Ooh. A lot of cup respecters. That's what that tells me. I bet Sundays less Celtics fans probably wanted to see the cup game.
I hope to God it's.
It's just a home game.
Do cup games have different price of admission, or it's like Are you paying more for the cup experience?
I would, but I don't know. I don't know if the teams market them that way. I didn't look. Admittedly, I don't look to buy tickets anymore. Very thankful for that. But I can imagine that they would try and put a little bit of extra price tag on it, but I'm truly not sure. It's a good question. Anyways, it's just about 7. I'll let everyone get further TVs. Any final thoughts from either of you before we go? Robbie, anything you want to plug? Anything you're working on? Anything you mentioned the small ball lineup article. If there's anything else you've written or are going to write, let us know, and all the listeners can go read it.
Yeah, of course. You can check out my work on Celtics blog. I tweet quite a bit. It's just my name. If anyone follows me, I'll tell you what. The next 5 people that follow me, I'll give you my social security code. I'll give you the number. I'll give you the first 5 digits. Okay.
Then it's up to them.
Then it's up to you. Then you have to figure out the rest.
How dedicated are they?
That's it.
All right.
I love that. I'll give you the last 5. The last numbers of Robbie's when you follow me. So
yeah, Jack already has mine. Yeah.
Part of a former trade was throw in at the end of it. All right, guys. Here's Joe. Goodbye.
I just got 3 things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your